full emotional story. In a quiet little town tucked inside the misty hills of Oregon, there stood an old wooden house at the end of Maple Street. Roses curled along its porch rails, once bright and proud, now fading but still holding on, just like the woman who lived inside. Her name was Eleanor Grace Whitmore, though time had shrunk her world so gently that most people simply knew her as Miss Eleanor. At 83, she moved slowly, a cane in one hand, her faded blue wool shawl wrapped around thin shoulders, the same shawl she had knitted long before grief had carved itself into her life. Every morning, she opened her lace curtains and watched the sun spread gold across the quiet street, the same way she once watched her husband build this house with his bare hands. The same way she once watched her daughter run barefoot through the yard, chasing butterflies and laughter. Those days lived now only in the sighs that left her chest in quiet moments. Eleanor had not always been alone. She once had a life overflowing with warmth, pie cooling on the window, radio songs humming through evenings, the sweet laughter of childhood filling every corner of her days. Her father used to say, open quote, "Life is made of seasons. Don't fear the winter. Spring always returns." Close quote. And she believed that until the winter came that never left. She met Thomas Whitmore in the summer of 1960 at a small town dance where lanterns floated and the night carried the smell of fresh grass and young dreams. Thomas was shy, tall, with coal-black hair and gentle hands skilled in carving wood. He wasn't a man of many words, but when he looked at Eleanor, the world softened. He asked her to dance, his voice trembled, and hers did too. They stepped into the music, and in that moment, life opened its arms to them. 2 years later, they were married in a tiny church with wildflowers at the door. They didn't have much, but they had love. Simple, steady, honest love. Thomas built their house himself, carving little roses into the door frames so she would feel surrounded by beauty every time she walked in. Life was laughter in a small kitchen, dancing barefoot to the sound of summer rain, and 2 cups of coffee shared every morning like a promise. Then came their daughter, Lily, the light of their world, soft golden hair, warm eyes, a little giggle that made the days brighter. Those were the days Eleanor thought would never end. Then came the quiet knock of fate, a cough that wouldn't go away. Thomas, once strong as the wood he shaped, began to wither. The diagnosis was cruel. Cancer. Silent, merciless, and steady. Eleanor spent countless nights holding his hand, whispering that she was there, praying for a miracle that never came. In his final days, Thomas looked at her with tears and said, open quote, "Promise me you'll keep living. For Lily. For us. Our love doesn't end here." Close quote. She promised, even as her heart cracked open. After he passed, the world felt sharp and hollow. Yet Eleanor stood tall because Lily needed her. She worked long hours, sewed late into the night, and learned to breathe through the ache. Every smile Lily gave her stitched a little warmth back into her soul. Lily grew into a gentle young woman, wanting to become a nurse, to heal people the way she wished she could have healed her father. She left home each morning with hope in her eyes, always kissing her mother's forehead before she went. One morning she called out, open quote, "See you tonight, Mama. I love you." Close quote. Eleanor waved from the doorway, her heart full. She didn't know those words were the last she would ever hear from her daughter. A drunk driver. A ringing phone. A hospital hallway that smelled like sorrow. When Eleanor saw her daughter lying silent, a cold stillness settled inside her that even time could not melt. She held Lily's hand, but no warmth came. Grief swallowed her whole that night, leaving her breathing, but not living. After that, the house grew quiet. Too quiet. Thomas's jacket still hung by the door. Lily's books still sat on the shelf. 3 plates in the cupboard, but she only used one. Days blurred. Seasons came and left, but inside that house, time stood still. Still, every morning, she made 2 cups of tea. One for herself, one for the ghosts of love. And sometimes at dusk, she sat near the window, shawl wrapped tight, watching children grow, neighbors move, life go on, while she remained frozen in memories. Only one person visited her world, Ben, the young mailman. He always greeted her with warmth, sometimes bringing daisies, sometimes asking how she felt. Eleanor smiled softly, grateful for kindness that didn't pry into her pain. Winter came again, sharp, quiet, and white as memory. One night, snow gently covered her roses like a blanket. Eleanor sat by her window, holding the first love letter Thomas ever wrote her. Tears shimmered in her tired blue eyes. Not from sorrow, but from love that had outlived everything. "I'm tired," she whispered, "and it was a beautiful life, because I loved you." She closed her eyes, heart slowing like a soft lullaby. And in that peace, in that silent winter night, she drifted, not ending, but returning. The next morning, when Ben knocked and heard no answer, worry tugged at him. They found her seated in her rocking chair, shawl around her, a gentle smile on her lips, and a letter resting in her lap. "To whoever finds me, I lived. I loved deeply." And that was enough. The town, once hurried past her silent house, finally paused. Children placed white roses on her porch. Church bells rang. And when spring came, her roses bloomed brighter than they had in years, as if love had taken root in the soil. Her life, quiet as a breath, had been a masterpiece of love, loss, and grace. And Eleanor, the woman forgotten by the world, returned at last to those who had been waiting in a place where time doesn't break hearts, where love finishes what life begins.